I hope you still want to come to Germany after you heard this now, but I'm not going to talk about Germany a lot. Yeah, I was born in Germany, and I grew up, my mom's Catholic, my dad's Lutheran, so I kind of grew up in both churches, was baptized Catholic, but then I got my confirmation, how we call it, in the Lutheran church. We didn't go on a regular basis, so I didn't know much. I always believed in God, never questioned God, but since I only knew the Trinity doctrine, I didn't really get Jesus in the picture, because with that doctrine you can't really understand who he was and what he did, you know. So I liked going to church, but I didn't really know a lot. And so when I was 16 years old, I decided I wanted to become a foreign exchange student in the US. And looking back, I know that this was already God, you know, drawing me, because I just woke up and I said, that's what I want to do. And so I came to the US for 1 year, and I stayed with a family, a host family. They live in Des Moines, Iowa. And it turned out that my host mom is Kathy Stru's cousin. And I don't know if you all know Brother Stephen Stru. Some of you might know him. He's a teacher and a minister in the Message. And by coincidence, it happened that way that they had moved to Lima, Ohio, and he kept his job in Des Moines, so he would travel back and forth, spend 1 week in Des Moines and 1 week in Ohio. And it happened that way. Then when he came to Des Moines, he would stay with us, with my host family there at that house. So basically we just met there. So he started coming, I came, and we met there. And then for 3 months I didn't know really what he believed, but I just noticed, you know, he's a nice man, and we had good conversations. And then after 3 months, my family announced that we're going to have Bible studies at our house from now on. And I was surprised when I heard that Brother Stephen's going to do them, because I had no clue that he knows quite a lot. So we had our first Bible study, and I didn't mind, but I didn't really know my Bible. And I remember we made it through maybe 2 verses, and it took us an hour and a half to get through those 2 verses, because there was so much in that. And we would go back and forth. It was in Genesis, and we would go back and forth between the New and the Old Testament. And I thought, that's interesting. I've never done that before, you know, just kind of see how it all fits together. And it just clicked, like 1, 2, it just clicked one after another. And I thought, wow, this makes sense, you know. And to me, I grew up believing the Bible's not supposed to make sense. I thought it's just for the priests to know, you know, they study, so they know, and it's not for me to understand. And so after we finished the Bible studies, the girls, my host sisters, they went to bed, but I just sat there and I had so many questions, so I kept asking them questions and questions and questions. And we sat that night probably until, I don't know, 2 or 3 in the morning, and just, you know, he would answer all my questions. And that was also the first time that I understood, you know, Calvary, and I understood what Jesus did. And he told me I was a sinner, and I didn't like to hear that at that time. And so I was surprised that I was a sinner who always believed in God, you know. But so I was saved that night, because I understood what Christ did for us. But then I also discussed a lot, and we fought. I mean, because he basically, you know, I asked him, so are you telling me I've been worshiping Antichrist all my life? Does this mean my life's been a lie, you know, until today? And he basically said yes. And and I thought, you know, he thinks he knows everything better, and I got mad. And so it was an interesting night. Well, but after that, you know, I felt so drawn into this, because it made so much sense, and I liked what I heard. But I was scared that I'm being drawn into a cult, and that I'm being manipulated here. And so what I did, I started praying, and I prayed, and I prayed, and I said, God, you know, if this is a cult, then you need to get me out of here. I have to leave this family. I don't want to, but I have to leave, because I got really scared. But I said, you know, if this is the truth, you need to show me. And I mean, you need to show me clearly, you know, that this is the truth. So I've prayed that prayer many, many days, or a couple of weeks. We would still have Bible studies, continue to do that. And then after a while, we started streaming BCF in Lima. And so not every Sunday, but from time to time. So what happened then is I had a little accident, and I broke my hand. So I know you feel, broke my hand, had to have a cast from here to here, left-handed, left hand, couldn't do anything, absolutely nothing. And I had to have that cast for 6 weeks. And after 2 weeks, I got so tired of it, I couldn't write. The teachers were unhappy, you know, they said, well, you need to write with your right hand. You can't go on like this for 6 weeks. And I was just miserable. Well, we had streamed a service, and Brother Stephen, I don't know if he had the prayer requests, but he mentioned us there in Des Moines, and he said, well, you know, she broke her hand, so let's just have prayer for her. So they did. then the next day, and I still had that prayer about, is this truth or not? So then the next day, I had really, really bad pain in my hand, and we had to go back to the doctor's office. So they took off the cast, and she just did another x-ray, and this was 2 weeks after the accident, so I had 4 more weeks to go. She came back with that x-ray, she looked at it, and she said, "Can't see anything, your bone is healed. I mean, there's nothing there, your bone is fine." And I knew, okay, this is my sign, you know. They prayed, and I got healed. So I started digging into this, and I got so excited. I remember, you know, I would have all these questions. So when Brother Stephen came home, he barely got in the door. I said, sit down, you know, I want to talk about this. I have all these questions. You know, no, you don't need rest. Tell me all about this. But we fought because I didn't agree with everything right away, because I didn't grow up believing that the Bible was fundamentally true. So that was kind of, you know, readjusting. So then after that, we went to BCF for the first time to Lima, and I got to meet Brother Lonnie there.